It begins on an ordinary morning, not a dramatic one, not a special date circled on calendars, just another weekday in America. Alarm clocks buzz, coffee machines hiss, showers run in quiet bathrooms. In Brooklyn, a phone vibrates on a wooden nightstand beside an untouched glass of water. The screen lights up the dark room for half a second, then again and again. In a quiet suburban Ohio living room, a television flickers on automatically, tuned to the same morning news channel it's been on for years. The couch still smells faintly of last night's dinner. A child's backpack rests by the door, ready for school. On Interstate 5 in California, early commuters drive half awake, windows cracked open, morning radio murmuring softly over the sound of tires on asphalt. Nothing feels wrong. Nothing looks wrong. And that is what makes what comes next so terrifying. Across the country, on phones, TVs, radios, digital billboards, one sentence appears. Not flashing, not animated, just text. Breaking news, confirmed military strikes, global conflict declared. People read it once, then again, waiting for the punchline, but there isn't one. This is not a movie. This is not a trailer. This is not a simulation. This is day one of World War III. And this is what the first hours inside the United States would actually feel like. Not from generals, not from politicians, but from kitchens, highways, bedrooms, and living rooms. From people who never believed they would see this day. At 6:17 a.m. Eastern Time, the sound arrives. A tone most Americans recognize, but hope they never hear for real. Phones scream at once. That sharp, piercing emergency alert sound fills bedrooms, buses, gas stations, bathrooms. Televisions interrupt weather forecasts mid-sentence. Morning talk shows freeze. Digital billboards in Times Square, Las Vegas, and Chicago go blank. Then display emergency text. For a few seconds, nobody moves. People stand frozen in doorways. Sit up in bed, heart racing. Look around as if someone else in the room might explain it. The message is short, carefully written. Every word chosen by committees who know history will judge them. The United States is currently responding to coordinated international military actions. Citizens are advised to remain calm and await further instructions. Remain calm. The phrase feels almost cruel, because calm vanishes instantly. In New York City, subway platforms fill with people who stop walking at the same time. Commuters stare down at their phones, thumbs refreshing news apps that refuse to load. Someone whispers, "Is this real?" In Los Angeles, traffic slows, not because of accidents, but because drivers pull to the side of the road, radios turned up, windows rolled down, faces pale. In Houston, refinery workers receive evacuation alerts without explanation. Supervisors don't have answers. They just tell people to go home. Social media erupts faster than official news ever could. Videos with no context, screenshots with no sources, voices shaking behind phone cameras. Rumors outrun reality. The power grid is under attack. Missiles were intercepted offshore. The draft is starting today. Nukes are already in the air. Nobody knows what's true. And that uncertainty, that silence between facts, becomes the first weapon of the war. By mid-morning, people realize something important. This war doesn't arrive with explosions. It arrives quietly, through systems, invisible, technical, cold. In Chicago, people stand at ATMs watching screens blink, then go dark. Receipts print with error codes no one understands. In Atlanta, departure boards inside the airport freeze. Flights show delayed without times, then canceled. In Seattle, entire neighborhoods lose cell service. No bars, no signal, just dead screens. Banks quietly reduce withdrawal limits. Not announced on the news, just noticed by customers at the counter. Gas stations in Phoenix and Dallas tape handwritten signs to their windows. Cash only, $20 limit. The lines form immediately. Not because people need fuel right now, but because something inside them whispers, this moment will not last. Hospitals shift into emergency mode. Backup generators hum quietly. Staff cancel days off without being asked. National Guard units are activated quietly in Pennsylvania, Virginia, California. No press conferences, no sirens, just movement behind the scenes. There are still no soldiers in the streets, but the feeling is there. That heavy electric tension, like the air just before a massive storm breaks. By late morning, fear stops being private. It spills into parking lots, into grocery aisles, into voices raised just a little too loudly. At first, people shop normally. Milk, bread, eggs. Then someone grabs a second pack of water, then a third, and suddenly, the mood shifts. In Miami, entire pallets of bottled water disappear in less than 30 minutes. Carts rattle across tile floors at a pace no grocery store was designed for. In Denver, two strangers argue over the last bag of rice. Neither is angry, just desperate. Both apologize afterward. In Kansas City, a fight breaks out near the baby aisle. Not over luxury items, not over electronics, over formula. Employees stand frozen, unsure whether to intervene or step back. They weren't trained for this. Managers whisper urgently into phones, trying to reach distribution centers that aren't answering. Trucks are still on the road, for now. But nobody trusts tomorrow anymore. Outside, parking lots feel different. Cars are packed tight. Engines idle longer than usual. People sit inside their vehicles, scrolling, refreshing, waiting for confirmation that someone, somewhere, knows what's happening. They don't. Just before noon, every major channel cuts to the same image. The White House briefing room. The president steps forward. The room is silent. His face is calm, too calm. The kind of calm that only appears when panic is being held back deliberately. He speaks slowly, carefully. The United States has been drawn into a global conflict. Our military is fully engaged alongside our allies. We ask every American to stay informed, stay united, and prepare for possible disruptions. Prepare. That single word lands harder than any missile ever could. Prepare means shortages. Prepare means waiting. Prepare means this isn't ending tonight. In living rooms across the country, people glance at each other. No one says anything, because saying it out loud would make it real. By early afternoon, America enters a strange in-between state. Not war, not peace. Something suspended. Office buildings empty early. Workers are sent home out of caution. Schools close without warning. Parents scramble, leaving work mid-shift, calling neighbors, calling family. Public events vanish from calendars. Concerts, sports games, conferences. Canceled. In Washington, D.C., temporary barriers rise quietly around federal buildings. Tourists are turned away with polite but firm instructions. In San Diego, naval traffic becomes impossible to ignore. Ships move with purpose now. No hesitation. In Norfolk, Virginia, families of sailors stop answering their phones. Not because they don't care, but because they already know. Commercial flights remain grounded. Airport terminals fill with people who don't know whether to leave or stay. Screens don't explain, staff don't know. And slowly, a realization settles in across the nation. The country has stopped moving. No vacations, no business trips, no escaping, just waiting. Mid-afternoon brings clarity, the kind no one wanted. News anchors return with maps, not speculation, not rumors, confirmed reports. U.S. military installations overseas have been struck. Communications satellites disrupted. Naval engagements reported in multiple regions. The language remains cautious, limited, controlled, strategic. But the visuals betray the truth. Red zones multiply across the globe. Defense treaties activate one by one. Markets collapse in real time. In San Francisco, tech workers stare at stock apps showing numbers that don't feel real anymore. In Detroit, auto plants suspend shifts indefinitely. Workers are told not to come back until further notice. In rural Montana, emergency radio frequencies crackle to life. Frequencies that haven't been used seriously in decades. The war is burning somewhere else, but everyone knows it's coming closer. As evening approaches, America looks unfamiliar. Cities don't glow the same way. Some lights go dark intentionally. Power companies reduce load. Government buildings black out windows. Airspace falls eerily silent. In New York, Times Square dims. Not completely dark, but quieter than anyone remembers in their lifetime. In Los Angeles, helicopters circle longer than usual, lower than usual. In St. Louis, sirens wail. Not because something happened, but because officials are testing them. That sound alone makes hearts race. Dinner feels pointless. Families sit together at tables, food barely touched. Phones lie face up between plates. Televisions stay on mute. Nobody wants to sleep, because sleep feels like giving up control. Late evening brings the second wave. Not bombs, not soldiers. Cyber war. Internet speeds drop nationwide. Payment apps fail mid-transaction. Streaming services cut out mid-sentence. In Boston, hospital networks switch to backup systems. Paper charts reappear. Older doctors suddenly become essential again. In Las Vegas, casinos go dark. Slot machines fall silent for the first time in decades. In Portland, traffic lights blink red in every direction. Drivers hesitate. Nobody wants to be the one who moves first. Emergency broadcasts advise conserving power. Then, every screen cuts to black. Every channel, every station. A single voice speaks. This is a national security message. Remain indoors if possible. Do not spread unverified information. Updates will follow. And then, nothing. No music. No commentary. No reassurance. Just static. This is when fear becomes personal. When the noise stops and imagination takes over. In Texas, people sleep with firearms nearby, not out of aggression, but uncertainty. In New Jersey, parents pack backpacks just in case. No destination planned, just readiness. In Iowa, farmers step outside at night, listening to the sky. Some pray. Some drink. Some lie awake staring at the ceiling, counting breaths. And some finally understand something deeply unsettling. No one is fully in control anymore. Not politicians, not generals, not anyone. By late night, the country grows unnaturally quiet. Not peaceful. Quiet in the way a city sounds after a blizzard. Muted, hollow, Wrong. In New York, the constant background hum fades. No sirens, no distant music. Just the sound of wind between buildings. Apartment lights flicker on and off as people conserve power without being told to. In Los Angeles, streets that are never empty sit half-lit, intersections blinking red, drivers slowing to a crawl, windows rolled down as if listening might help. In rural Wyoming, emergency radios crackle softly beside kitchen tables, broadcasting the same looping message every 15 minutes. This is a federal emergency broadcast. Stand by for updates. No updates come. Time stretches. Minutes feel heavy. People check their phones again and again, even when there is nothing new to see. Because doing something feels better than waiting. Sometime after 2 a.m., another alert arrives. Not loud, not urgent, almost gentle. Phones vibrate instead of scream. The message reads, "Emergency preparedness measures may be expanded. Transportation, fuel, and communications may remain limited." This is an ongoing situation. That's it. No instructions, no timeline, no reassurance. In Chicago, a man sits on the edge of his bed rereading the message, realizing it doesn't promise improvement, only continuation. In Phoenix, a family quietly fills reusable bottles with tap water, not because they were told to, but because instinct says to. In New York, a woman watches the city skyline from her window, noticing how many floors remain dark. She's never seen it like this. As the sky begins to lighten, exhaustion replaces panic. Fear doesn't disappear. It changes shape. By 4:30 a.m., birds start singing like nothing happened. That detail unsettles people more than silence ever could. Nature doesn't acknowledge human conflict. In Ohio, a father sits at the kitchen table, hands wrapped around a mug of coffee gone cold, wondering how to explain this day to his children when they wake up. In California, warehouse workers check messages from supervisors that say only, "Stay home until further notice." In Florida, elderly couples turn on radios out of habit, even though the stations no longer play music. Everyone is waiting for the same thing. An announcement, a turning point. Something that says this is temporary. It doesn't come. When the sun finally rises over New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, it illuminates a country that feels subtly altered. The buildings are the same, the roads are the same, but the feeling is not. The first day of World War III doesn't end with explosions. It ends with realization. The realization that yesterday is gone, forever. People step outside cautiously. Neighbors nod at each other, not smiling, just acknowledging shared survival. News anchors return to the air looking older than they did yesterday. Their voices slower, their words heavier. They no longer speculate, they confirm. The first day is officially over. Day one isn't about heroism. It's about shock. It's about the moment people realize how much of their life depends on systems they never notice, until they stop working. Electricity, fuel, food deliveries, communication. Day one teaches one brutal lesson. Modern life is fragile. And once that truth settles in, there is no unlearning it. As morning routines try to restart, nothing fits. Breakfast tastes wrong. Morning shows feel inappropriate. Jokes fall flat. Children ask questions adults can't answer. Is school canceled forever? Why are planes gone? Are we safe? Parents hesitate because they don't know. They don't know if safety still exists in the way it used to. World War III does not arrive screaming. It arrives whispering, through closed stores, through quiet streets, through unanswered questions. And by the time people understand what's happening, they are already living inside history.